The fact that you clicked on this video tells me that you might be struggling to increase your engagement on Instagram. I myself have a unique love-hate relationship with Instagram, so I really do get it. It can be really hard. It's not always easy to know what kind of content to post to get your community engaged and wanting more. And then with the added pressure of the ever-changing algorithm, it can sometimes seem almost impossible to get your audience to actually see your stuff in the first place, let alone engage with your posts. So Instagram has really changed a lot over the past couple of years and now has a more heavy focus on video content, encouraging its users to create more content for things like reels, stories, and even live streams. But saying that, grid posts are not completely redundant yet. You can still get some amazing engagement by posting high quality relevant photos and content that's pretty much share worthy. So if you are someone who is looking for a little bit of inspiration on what kind of content you can post to get your followers vibing more with your content, then you'll be pleased to know that in this video, I'm going to be sharing 20 content ideas that you can start incorporating into your content strategy today to help boost your engagement on Instagram, which you can pretty much custom to different types of posts across the platform. Also, be sure to stick around for the bonus tip that I'll be sharing at the end of this video to help you grow even more on the Instagram platform. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. Okay, so number one is self-promo. And you're going to want to add some self-promo to your page because this is what's going to allow people to kind of get a feel for who you are, what your values are, and it will essentially kind of help you to build out know, like, and trust with your audience. There are lots of ways that you can do this. So you can post a video, a story, or photo actually introducing yourself, or even introducing your products or the services that you sell. You can also share your brand story and details of your journey so far. And you also want to be sharing your mission and vision and ultimately the why behind your business. Like, why are you doing this? Also, if you create content on other platforms, make your Instagram followers aware of that. So share an image or a video that pretty much directs people to a blog post that you've created, maybe to a YouTube video or a podcast episode that you've recently created, and invite your followers to check out that content to learn more about you and your services. Also, be sure to use your Instagram channel to let your followers know about any promotions that you have going on at the moment and kind of give them details about what's on offer in your business and how they can find out more about those things. And you could even ask your followers to mention or tag a friend that might need your products or services, which is another great way to grow your page with the right kinds of people. Okay, so number two is to ask questions. Asking questions is a great opportunity for you to find out more about your followers, and questions can be fun, they can be interesting, controversial, or pretty much for research purposes. But the purpose of asking questions is to invoke a response from your followers that can potentially lead to a conversation. So a great way to execute this is to actually use your stories. So stories are an easy way to ask your community questions and also interact with them. And you can make it really easy for your followers to get involved by using the sticker feature and other interactive buttons to help you gather responses and also increase engagement. And then number three is to share behind the scenes content. So people love getting an inside look at what's actually going on in your brand or business. So show them, let them see, show them how you create content or what creative processes look like in your business, or just pretty much what you're working on right now. This is going to give your followers a sense of connection and really make them feel closer to you and more connected to you. So a few more examples of behind the scene content that you could share are interviews with other members of your team, maybe a time-lapse video of a project that you might be working on and kind of showing how that project is coming together. You could create videos of you and your team having fun, so maybe at some kind of social event. You could create day in the life content that kind of shows what your average day looks like, or you could create content on how your products are made, or any kind of interesting story that you feel your audience would find interesting or would be interested in. Right, so number 4 is to live stream. So if you're not utilizing live video yet, you should really think about giving it a try, because it's a really good way for you to engage your audience, and it can also be a good lead generation tool. So there is a lot of power in allowing people to see you in an authentic, unedited environment. And this is a great way to show your authority and also show everyone that you're a person that they can actually relate to. Plus, when you use live video to actually interact with your followers, you're able to get a better understanding of what it is that they're looking for and what type of content it is that resonates with them, which can lead to more meaningful conversations. Lives can be done in different formats too. You can go live to show off your products. You can give a live demo or a live tutorial. You can host a Q&A session, or you could just talk about what's new in your world. Right, so number 5 is a photo quote overlay. This one depends on the type of business you have, but people do tend to engage very well with inspirational and motivational quotes. This type of content allows you to connect with your audience on an emotional level and can also be quite thought-provoking, which again is really good. But if you do decide to go with this type of content, you need to be sure to create good captions that actually include a call to action, as you still want to be inspiring your followers and your audience to kind of comment on your post and take some kind of action, which ultimately is going to help you to boost engagement. Again, quote overlays aren't going to work for every business model, but it's definitely something that you could consider giving a try. And then following on from that, number 6 is to ask questions in your captions. So this is a great way to get people actually talking and engaging with your posts. Remember that the more engagement your post has, the more likely it is that Instagram are going to push it out to a wider audience. So ask your followers about their favorite things, what they're up to, or even their opinion on something that you've recently posted about. Right, so number 7 is to showcase your products. Now, this type of content can be effective if done right. You're going to want to showcase the features and benefits of your products, but also give people an inside look at what it is that, they're being used for, so that they can actually relate to them. You don't want to overdo this though, as you don't really want to come off too salesy. So this type of content should make up about 10% of your overall posting strategy. But in saying that, you should definitely be making an effort to share your offers at least once a week or once a month, depending on how frequently you post content. Okay, so number 8 is to create Ask Me Anything prompts. Now, your stories are generally the best place to post Ask Me Anything content, but you can also get quite a good response using your grid feed if you have an engaged audience. So this literally could be something as simple as adding the Ask Me a Question sticker to your story and then waiting for your followers to react to it. Now, the questions asked by your followers will land directly in your inbox, and then you can answer them directly. Now, with this in mind, what I would recommend is viewing the questions that come in and reposting the good ones on your actual feed or in your actual stories, along with the answers to those questions, so that your audience can actually see your response and get to know more about you and your services. Also, use the data that you take away from doing this to update the FAQs on your website or on your sales page, obviously depending on the questions that are being asked. But the majority of time, if someone is asking a question, it's likely that other people are wondering the same thing too. Lastly, this doesn't have to be business related. This could be on a personal level, where your audience gets to ask you questions about things that are a little bit more personal or a bit more focused on your life. But I do understand that this is not going to appeal to everybody. Some people like to keep it professional. So, this is only going to apply to you if it feels right. Okay, moving on. Number 9 is to repost content. So this is pretty much an easy one, and it requires minimal work on your part. So what you can do is repost a post from maybe a friend or a mentor or an influencer that you feel your audience might find valuable. But keep in mind that it is important to remember to give full credit to the original creator of the post. Now, there are apps that you can use to make reposting easy, which will pretty much take care of this by crediting and tagging any posts that you repost. You can also repost your own content. So say you have a piece of content that your audience has really loved or that has had a really high engagement rate in the past. Don't be scared to repost that piece of content. Obviously, don't do this back to back, but every now and then it's absolutely fine. So take a moment, kind of go through your content, look at some of your best performing pieces of content, and if something has done well, repost it or recreate it. Okay, so similar to Ask Me Anything posts, polls and surveys are another great way for increasing engagement and getting your followers involved. You can ask them questions about their interests, their favorite products, or even just kind of what they think of your content generally. It's always interesting for people to be able to see what other people think, and it can really help to get valuable feedback from your followers, especially when it comes to carrying out market research. So number 11 is to run a photo contest. So running a photo contest of some kind can really help to generate buzz around your brand and increase engagement with your followers. And this is a really good way to get people involved and make them feel like they're actually part of your community. Now, this also fits into user-generated content, which I am going to come back to next. But you could ask your followers to post a photo related to a certain topic on their own Instagram page and then tag you in that photo. So for example, say you're a wellness coach. You could ask your audience to share a photo that represents their favorite healthy habit or self-care ritual. Now, you could then request that they post the photo on their Instagram feed and tag you in it using some kind of specific hashtag. So you would then select the best entry and reward the winner with a prize. Now, to get the most from this content, make sure that you're including really clear instructions and set a time limit for the contest. And then next we have user-generated content. So instead of asking your audience to post on their own pages, you can actually go ahead and post user-generated content on your page. So nothing speaks louder than when other people are actually talking about how great your brand is and using your products. Don't be shy about creating content that encourages your followers to post content that showcases their experiences with your brand. And then once they've done that, you can share it on your page. This is a really, really good way to broaden your reach and boost engagement on Instagram. So a couple of examples of user-generated content might be customer reviews, photos of people using your products or services, video tutorials on how to use a product, them opening and enjoying your product. So you could literally invite customers to share how they use your product to solve a problem or achieve a goal and so on. Okay, so number 13 is to share something that you recently learned. So you're going to want to speak to your audience about something that's recently impacted your life or your business in some way. And this could be something that you learned through an experience, through a mentor, through a course, a book, a client, or a family member, or even a friend. So this right here is a great opportunity for you to show some vulnerability and actually connect with your audience on a deeper and more authentic level, which is really good for building engagement and also for building know, like, and trust. And then number 14 is to give a shout out. So you can mention someone in your industry who is doing incredible things and then explain why you kind of like them and how their content has inspired you. Okay, so number 15 is to host an Instagram takeover. Now, you don't really see this happening that much anymore, but an Instagram takeover is when, you invite an influencer or a brand partner to kind of take over your Instagram account for the day. And it involves planning, promotion, content creation, engagement, and then handing back control to you afterwards. So a takeover is a collaborative way to actually reach new audiences and showcase different voices and perspectives on your profile. Now, when planning a takeover, it's a really good idea to make sure that the content shared during the takeover actually aligns with your brand values and resonates with your audience, as consistency in messaging and tone is going to really help you to maintain your brand identity and keep your followers engaged. So 16 is to highlight the things that are trending in your niche. So as a small business owner or content creator, it's important to be in the know-how of what's actually going on, like what's happening in your industry. And sharing content around this can really help your followers to feel informed and to help them to stay up to date with what's actually going on. But it can also give you insight into what your followers are interested in, not to mention the fact that industry trending posts are a really good way to grow your credibility. So you could post about topics that have gone viral or that can help or add value to your community in some way or other. Staying on top of trending content can really give you an edge, and people will want to follow you simply because they know that they're going to be able to keep up to date with what's going on, which includes the things that they should know or want to know about. Also, don't be afraid to give a controversial viewpoint on a controversial topic, as this can often kind of spark meaningful discussions within your community and showcase your willingness to address challenging issues within your niche. Next, you can share something from your personal life or business that you feel thankful for. So share some of your journey or maybe the progress that you've made so far. Or you could even just thank your customers or followers or your community for kind of sticking with you and supporting you along the way. Number 18 is to create real you content. So it's really important to understand that no matter what industry or niche you're in, there are always going to be other people in your space that are offering the same or similar services to the ones that you're offering. And what this means is that when it comes down to it, people are going to make the decisions on who to buy from or who to follow based on you, like your unique vibe. Your audience want to feel connected to you, which is why these types of posts do well. And for those of you like me who can sometimes feel a little uncomfortable oversharing, it's important to note that you don't need to go into too much detail. You don't need to get too personal with your audience, unless you want to, of course. But the aim here is to kind of allow them to get to know you on a more real and authentic level. So to do this, you can show yourself maybe hanging out with friends or family. You can create more behind the scenes content, or simply just show yourself doing something that you love, or even just ranting about something that you feel passionate about. So it's these little snippets in your life that are really going to work wonders when it comes to attracting your tribe. Right, 2 more to go. Number 19 is to use carousels to create tutorials or tips. So carousels give content creators a lot more space to display quality content in one post. So why not use this format to create things like tutorials or to share tips with your followers? Not only is this a great way to increase engagement on your platform, but it's also an opportunity to show off your knowledge and your expertise. So in case you don't already know, you can add up to 10 images in one single carousel post, which is absolutely awesome. Using carousels can not only help you become more creative with your content, but also allows you to incorporate things like uplifting messages, reviews, and more into one single post. And that's really, really powerful. So it does take a little bit more time to create this type of content, but the payoff from doing so is huge. So again, something that I would really recommend. Now, lastly, number 20 is to directly ask your audience to save your post. So this, again, is something that can have a huge impact on your engagement. So don't be afraid to put something in your caption reminding people to save your post, or actually add something into the image which also encourages people to save your post. And again, like when you are creating content, think about what you can create that people are going to actually want to save. So if you can create some kind of tip or some kind of piece of advice or something, motivational or inspirational that you feel that your target audience are going to benefit from coming back to again and again and again, then that's the type of content you want to be creating. And again, don't be afraid to be telling people that they need to save your post, because they are going to benefit from looking at this type of content again and again. Now, when people save your post, it really helps to boost your conversions. And keep in mind that Instagram saves are considered a lot more powerful than Instagram likes because your followers are actively engaging with your content. And again, like I mentioned, they're able to revisit it in the future, which kind of means that the content must be pretty good. And you're essentially helping Instagram to keep people on their site, which we all know is exactly what they want. Right, so earlier I mentioned a couple of bonus tips that I was going to share with you at the end of this video. So I'm just going to jump into those right now. First off, you want to be making sure that you spend sufficient time making your content and captions as engaging as possible. And again, make sure that you're always including a call to action in your posts to encourage your community and your audience to engage with you and also to engage with each other. Also, to grow your Instagram account, it's important to consistently provide your followers with valuable content. So do some research on the types of content that your ideal customer wants to see, and don't be afraid to try out new trends, as trends are a great way to become more visible and actually grow your account. Also, be sure to check out what your competitors are doing and see what types of content they're creating that's working well for them and what your target audience seems to be engaging the most with, and draw some inspiration from that. Also, remember that people love authenticity, so utilize your stories and show them what's happening behind the scenes in your business and life. And then lastly, to succeed on Instagram, you need to be prepared to show up consistently. Now, this doesn't mean you need to show up every day, but if your plan is to show up, say, 3 times a week, then make sure that's exactly what you're doing. Keep in mind that the more often you are showing up, the easier your audience is going to find it to trust you and eventually buy from you. And the higher chances that you're going to have of Instagram's algorithm favoring your content and pushing it out to the masses. So there you have it. With these tips, you can be sure that your Instagram content is going to be fresh, engaging, and also successful. So if you've not done so already, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content to help you grow your online business. Catch you in my next video. Ciao.